The NDP will say, we didn't support this budget. We can't go to an election right now. We would if we could, but we can't. We're in the middle of a leadership race. Remember what happens when the Liberals wanted to go through a leadership race? They prorogued all of frickin' Parliament. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to you about what is going to happen tomorrow, if you're watching this tomorrow, today. So the first thing to know is we are going to be live streaming the actual vote.
And by we, Ryan means he.
Me.
Because I have to bring Vincent to therapy.
So look out for the live stream to be posted tomorrow. And we are going to be covering the actual vote as it happens, so we can all huddle together to watch the prediction of a passing budget tomorrow. Now, before it passes, it's going to continue into debate from noon until 2. Question period will then happen, and then debate will continue following question period until adjournment proceedings and win the vote. So we expect the vote to happen at around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I will be firing up the stream probably around 5:45 p.m. So we can all kind of file in and get ready and get our stuff together and get ready for that. So the debate's going to finish, and then they sound the bells, is what they call it, which means they essentially tell all the MPs, hey, it's time to vote, get your butts in here. And after that half hour passes, all the MPs will either file in or they will get ready online if they're not sick, and then the vote will be called. Liberals will all stand to have the vote or the budget pass. We'll see if any don't stand, which will be interesting. And then they will call who is going to oppose the budget. And we expect all of the Conservatives to oppose it. We expect all of the Bloc to oppose it. Elizabeth May has said she's going to oppose it. And we expect the NDP to mostly abstain. And if they do, then this will kind of line up with what we predicted was going to happen a couple of months ago, which is this budget has to pass. And just a quick recap of why. The way the polls are right now, they're about 50-50. They're within that margin of error. Whoever pushes an election right now is going to get absolutely slaughtered in the court of public opinion.
Well, and never mind that. Pretty much nobody can afford it. Everybody just had an election 6 months ago. Yep. So, I mean, that's a lot, especially for EDAs that maybe they're not supposed to win, but they want to run a candidate anyways. They may have trouble fundraising, especially on short notice like this. So if the Liberals push this to an election, which they're not going to at this point, all that would happen is the opposition parties would say, what the heck are you doing? You just had an election. You just won an election. And you can't point to anybody blocking you from any of your legislation because it's happening. So it's not our fault that you're literally getting nothing done. So that's what's going on here. So they will get absolutely creamed in there. If the opposition forces an election, then they will get slaughtered in the court of public opinion, because all you're going to hear from the Liberals is Canadians can't afford an election. See, the opposition, they don't care about you. They're forcing you back to an election. And this is just an example of how they're preventing us from building Canada strong. And off you go to a Liberal majority. So that's why the opposition cannot vote down this budget right now, because that's what would happen in the chess game. So what has to happen is all of the parties have to oppose the budget, but still allow it to pass. That way, they can stand up in front of their constituents and saying, we didn't like this budget. We didn't support it.
We didn't support it. So the NDP will say, we didn't support this budget.
We can't go to an election right now. We would if we could, but we can't. We're in the middle of a leadership race. Remember what happens when the Liberals wanted to go through a leadership race? They prorogued all of frickin' Parliament. We have to be here while Parliament is here during our leadership race. Must be nice to be the Liberals. So that's what the NDP is going to end up doing, and this budget will pass, which is fine, because there's a whole heap of people out there, and organizations, and business unions, and business organizations that are coming out and saying this budget is not what you were advertising. So that's the nice thing. The Conservatives aren't the only ones standing up and saying this. And you're having panelists actually come on. Laurie Turnbull was on CTV on Friday with what's his face, Mike Couture, I think is his name. Anyway, she was saying Pierre Poilievre has been right on this budget. He's been absolutely right, because it doesn't do what Carney said it was going to do, and he's been right on these projects that he's been announcing. Never mind the one that is in his financial interest, because they've all been pre-announced. Nothing's new, and Carney's trying to take credit for all of it. So she's like, "Yeah, he's right," and none of these are solving affordability crisis right now. That's the big problem with this budget. So 6 months after this budget, remember what we said. All you're going to hear from the opposition parties is, when are Canadians going to get better? When is things going to get better? When? You said things were going to move at speeds heretofore untold. Carney was actually talking like Trump, right? The likes of which we've never seen before. But yet Pierre's the one that gets called Trump all the time.
Of course.
So that's what will have to happen. And there's a lot of chatter in the MPs that there's a spring election coming. So we'll see what happens after the NDP win their leadership race, get their platform together, and get their act together, hopefully. And we may be back to the polls next summer, folks. And after 6 months, when nothing has changed for the average Canadian, and maybe they dip into OAS. Maybe they threaten to dip into OAS. I don't know. But I don't think anything is off the table for Mark Carney, and I think he's going to tick off literally everybody at this point because of his narcissism, and he thinks that I'm good to go.
Well, they have no choice, I think, is the attitude, right? Canadians will do what I say because I know what's good for them.
So that's what's going to happen tomorrow. That's what's going to happen over the next 6 months. So get ready, because the firing squad is going to come out after this budget passes. And nothing happens.